Hello everyone, this is Wolf, and today we are back for more Space Engineers. In today's episode, I'm going to put some lights in the grinder pit. Something to convey a sense of caution, convey what's going on in there. As well, I'm going to begin preparing this space right here for being the eventual hangar entrance that it is going to be. But, to start with, I'm going to fix an oversight. This does not have conveyor access. Not a relatively big thing, but it does slow things down a little bit. I originally said I was going to remove the cargo container, but after thinking on it, I realized it would be helpful to have conveyor access in this area. So, the easiest way to remedy this is to pop over here and quickly grind away one of these grinders until I can access the conveyor port on the side like so. That'll give me pretty much everything I need in order to get to this getting sorted out. So let's do that. Put those materials back in there because they need to stay in there. Turn my HUD back on because it would still be helpful to have that. And do something to prep this so I can cut away that conveyor tube. Easy enough. There are attachment points on the narrow sides of the connector here. So you do that, and with a simple grind, it's still hooked up. It still has power, even though I've removed this. Let's put this back. Grind these away, and deal with a little bit of lag. Now, underneath here is an armor block. The conveyor goes underneath it. Alright? I'd like to leave that armor block there. Oh, it's a little further down, actually. This armor block. No, not that one. Next one down. There we go. And there we have our conveyor. So I'm going to put another conveyor junction in here. I know it's a little bit of a waste, but I do have a method, I do have a purpose for doing so. Then, going to put our curved conveyor tube and pipe everything back up again. Small little oversight, I know, but easy to remedy. Conveyor junction, again, slightly wasteful, but I do have a method for reason for doing so. Wow, I can't talk today. So, just in case anyone notices that I sound a little strange or I seem a little off today, I've not been doing so well lately the last couple days. So, without giving too many details, I have a medical condition and decided that it was going to act up the last few days, which is very, 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 very unpleasant to deal with. So, like I said in my last video, I'm pretty much laid up in bed, but got something to keep myself busy with. Now, to control those grinders, we're going to need a button panel. Okay? Button panels take steel plates, take interior plates, and everything there. Now, the easiest place and way for me to put a button panel in here is to put a button panel someplace where it can control multiple functions. So I'm going to put one here, right below and in front of this conveyor tube. Come on. I want to grab it. So, all right. Next, go in here, put all our grinders, which we have a fair number of them, into a grinding group, into a group, sorry. And then to keep things from getting too cluttered, block on inventory, block on terminal, turn off, block on inventory, turn off, so that way they're not filling up the inventory and they're not cluttering up the terminal too much. As well, conveyor system should be left on. Alright. Next, we go back to our button panel. Button number 1, setup actions, groups, grinders, toggle lock on and off. And now we have the grinders. Simple, easy, no tricks or tricks, wow. No tricks or anything needed beyond that. Now for this space right here. And this is going to lead into why I wanted to leave that cargo container here. I think I'm going to build 2 doors. I'm going to have a large space underneath here for it to work with. And the reason why I'm going to do that is these racks. Okay, if I build anything in the area, these are going to fall in immediately. Which is why I need to get the grinding pit operational so I can just grab them and bring them inside. Yeah. That seems probably the best course of action. But first, I have to do something I missed in the last one. I have to put a beacon on here and a door detector. So, I conveniently left these 2 spaces right behind the cockpit open for such modifications. Alright. Small steel tubes, detectors, motors, radio components. And radio components. So that's why one of the reasons why I like leaving little gaps in a design like this, because it is actually very helpful. Right, let's jump and put most of this back in our cargo container because I got a little bit of reconfiguring to do on the miner right now. All right. So now put the beacon on here and toggle it on and off. Okay, beacons do use power. And then I'm going to change the name of the beacon to miner, not minder. And I'm going to set its radius to 2000. It doesn't need much. Okay, and then the ore detector. I still have the ore detector plus mod, so I'm going to leave that on. But it does help to have it go to 300 meters. So I will be using this little. I think I'm going to call it a tunneling crab. I'm still thinking on names, but tunneling crab does make sense. I'm going to use it to tunnel to the other deposits underground from the main base. I could also be convinced, and I'm still thinking on this one, if I should tunnel from this hangar space out there. Debating on that one. So it is closer to deposits 3 and 4. And I'm pretty sure deposit 2 is something small, like silver or gold, probably gold. But deposit 4 is the one that I am most interested in. It is the larger of the 2 other deposits and the closer of the 2 deposits. So we've got a little supply transport. Okay. So I think after I get everything cleaned up, tunneling is going to be one of my major projects here. Let's go check on our drill rig, because I haven't looked at this for a while, but it is pretty much on its own. And it's about halfway extended. Not even. Only about a third of the way extended. The really cool thing with this is that I can just ignore this. It will keep going no matter what, until it runs out of length. I could probably adjust the pistons a little bit in terms of speed, but I'm not too worried about it because right now I am maintaining my... Whoa, voxel's loading. I am maintaining my stability of and consistency of power production, or of resource production. So that battery is done. Let's grind it away and put an armor block in its place. All right. Next thing, I'm going to put the doors in. I'm going to need a lot of steel plates. Airtight hangar doors take a huge amount of steel plates. It is actually kind of ridiculous the amount of steel plates they take, but yeah. I didn't design them. Oops. Have I unlocked airtight hangar doors? I have not, so I have to put a door in first. Yep. Alright, well, let's build a door. Interior plates. One of the advantages of just being able to do whatever you want is that when you find the limitations like this, it is actually quite funny because you now realize you have to do something else. Don't think I need glass for these. So, but progression does add that extra little bit of hurdle every so often, which does remind you that the game is intended to be played in this way. I'm going to, in the assembler, throw in some more steel plates to be made. I think 20,000 should be fine. And I'm going to go to the refineries. I'm going to clear out the refineries of the processed ores. Why? Good housekeeping. Something just to keep an eye on. Actually, since the refineries are essentially fighting each other for resources right now, I might just increase the speed of those pistons, so that way they can continue processing resources efficiently. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Rig pistons, velocity, 2. I just doubled the speed of the pistons, which, when dealing with such a large drill rig, such small values, even though I just doubled the speed of the pistons, it's only going to result in, at most, another... Wow, I can control this. In a doubling of the bite right here of the drills. Now, I could have increased that by a factor of 4, and the drills would have still bit plenty, but I don't want to increase it that much. Because there's no need, to be perfectly honest. Alright. There's no damage, nothing is rubbing. Alright, we're good. Yay, voxel's loading in again. Alright. Now. I am failing at typing today. Alright, now one of the cool things you can do with an airtight hangar door is you can still place it even though the block may already be, the area may already be slightly taken up. Which is okay. That helps us in this circumstance. Now, we're going to have to very carefully drill out small amounts of stone here. Right. I'm just going to make my life a little easier with this and drill some of these out as I go along here. One, two... Alright. Now, each airtight hangar door here closes off a space 2 blocks tall. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the next set of airtight hangar doors actually goes in this space. So I will finish off a quick little half armor bit right here, because this is also going to be continued forward. And before anyone jumps, but wait, you got... I do have a plan for the space underneath there. Alright, so a quick little bit of welding here, and then airtight hangar doors along here. And I think, in an effort to make this consistent, I'm going to remove that from the equation. Have, and remove this one from the equation. And have just a row of armor blocks. up in that space. Oops. Those doors are not aligning. Alright, well, I guess I have a little more drilling to do. Which is perfectly fine. So. Now, let's put our half block in there again. Well, that does eliminate the concern that I had about look of things, so I might be able to do just a full wall of airtight hangar doors. So I can put this one back. There we go. And then this one will go here. Now, the big question that I'm anticipating someone asking is why airtight hangar doors? Why not do blast doors? I don't need the amount of coverage that it's going to be providing. Oops, not 5. 4. What I'm going to be using this space for is, without putting too fine a point on it, just going to be a antechamber with the ability to seal it off. So if any drones do come by, they're just going to have to shoot their way through a couple layers of these doors. Okay? And that will keep the base overall protected. Alright. Is it a perfect solution? No. But is it a solution that does not require me to drill out more space in a relatively confined space? Yeah. That is a pretty big deciding factor in why I did it this way. Alright. What I'm doing right here. Also, they do allow me to make this base potentially airtight if I wanted to do that. I'm not sure if I will ever make it airtight, but it would be kind of cool to do so. I would just have to figure out something to do down in the main base with all the silicon. Now, we're going to go into our control panel and grab those doors. So we grab all of them, put them in a block group. This is going to be hangar door interior. Okay, save them in the group, off the terminal. All right, and go back in here. Button 2, set up actions, groups, hangar doors. Oh, it's not going to let me do that until I weld them up. All right, then let's weld them up real fast. And I'll jump ahead to when I have that done. All right, and with that welded up, I've got the doors here functional, so I can put them on the button panel now. Turn my headlights off. Set up actions for button number 2, groups, grab the interior airtight hangar doors and open close. With that, we now have a functional airtight hangar door. Yes, they can travel through voxels. Yes, it does look weird. No, it will not damage them, but essentially watching teeth take a bite, and that is what we're seeing. Take a bite out of this is quite funny. So I'm going to go ahead and open them again. Alright. Well, one of the things that I was doing while I was waiting for the assembler to make steel plates was starting to work on the design for this space. And I realize I'm going to have to, because this area here is actually kind of concave in terms of the ground, I'm going to have to core out quite a bit, which means that these wrecks are going to fall into this space as I'm doing so. So I need to build the floor first. There's no two ways about it. I have to build the floor first. which is okay. That is okay. I did a little bit of measuring, and I'm probably going to have to make a floor space about twice the size of what I've already made here, which is 5 blocks wide. Oh well, it's what it is. So I'm going to carefully drill out and continue drilling forward. This is where I need my headlights until I get that area set up. So I'll jump ahead again until that's done. All right, and with that, I have welded up the space that will be the landing pad area. I did use the half-light armor blocks, mostly because it's more efficient use of resources. Now what I'm going to do is use the miner to clear away the stone. I'm not going to do anything particularly perfect with how large its shape is going to be in this initial stage. I will do some more fine-tuning work later, but right now I just want to clear the space so I can get these wrecks sliding in, and I can put them in the grinding pit. So, let's get to that. I think I am going to call this the tunneling crab. Okay, it's on auto. We are unlocked. Let's switch to third person. And let's start coring out. Actually, let's core out where that one drifting pursuant's hovering over the little entrance tunnel I first made. So, right click. This is going to destroy the ice that's in front of me. I am aware of that. I don't really think I have any options right now unless I want to make a bajillion trips. It will make more of a difference later once I get to the point where I'm going to start needing the hydrogen. But by that point, I'm going to have a whole massive hydrogen production facility set up inside my base with, I've been thinking about it, probably about 20 hydrogen tanks and a bunch of 2H2 generators to supply them. Alright, let's clear this area out right here. Oh, looks like that drifting pursuit is just going to hang out there. Let's switch to spectator cam a little bit. Got a little further to go. Alright. Now, for those who don't know, you can use F9 to very carefully control your character while in spectator cam mode. It does make drilling out and coring out like this a little bit easier, but also there's a risk included in it. So only ever do this if you are going to be very, very, very careful. The only reason I feel confident actually doing this is the gyroscopes on this thing are set to a very low power level. And there goes that chunk of gravel that's been hanging around there for a while now. Let's go back to first person view and see, we've cut a decent swath with relative ease doing so. I do not believe that I will be able to get as lucky as I was with that one with the next swath, because as soon as I cut that away, that drifting pursuant is going to fall in. So let's move down a little bit. Let's even off with gravity, or level off with gravity, I should say. Even off. All right. And let's work on the next section. So I'm not going to time lapse this or zoom ahead or jump ahead or anything with this, because I'm actually genuinely curious to see how well this turns out once those wrecks start falling into the landing pad. So there is not going to be anything functional except for the doors, for drones to shoot at. And for the doors, I'm going to protect them with blast door blocks. So the positions of everything around them right now is only temporary. They will be protected. So Vox will just provide a bit more protection, but the blast door blocks will be probably the more essential protection. All right. There's that drifting pursuant. And it's likely going to be the first one to go into the grinding pit, because it will slide in any moment now, and I'm going to have to get out of its way once it starts to move. Seems to be, and right now I'm destroying some ice, so. Alright, I need to alter, level off a little bit more. Go forward a bit. Very careful how I do this next little bit here. And there it goes. Or not. Well, I do have that piece of... the space is wide enough for me to bring a drifting pursuant down into, but I'm going to hesitate. And that scuttler has me slightly worried. So I'm just going to remove some more stone and allow... Oops. First person piloting failure. Alright. Third pass should clear away the rest of the stone that's over the entrance area here. Alright. Just got to be very careful there. So this will have cleared out the majority of the stone from the landing pad. And we'll undoubtedly send that drifting pursuit sliding in. So, which is why I wanted to do it like this. So once it's done sliding in, alright, let's move forward just enough to get that area cleared out. And there she goes, she's sliding in. Oh, almost. Stuck on that little spur of ice there. Yeah, that little spur of ice is being tricky. And now it's resting on me and sliding into the hole. It'll cause a few blocks to explode as it falls down, which is fine. But altogether, the hole is doing its job. Now, I need to level off so I'm nice and flat with gravity. And with that, it's locked. Alright. I have plenty of lifting thrust with this. So let's very carefully guide ourselves back into the base. Oh, there's a chunk of ice that's going to be removed. Oh well. I have to go up in order to clear the doors. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to clear them on the bottom, but I will clear them on the top. And we now have our first sacrifice to the grinding pit. Alright, maybe the laugh was a little too much, but is the opening large enough for a drifting pursuant? It is. This is perfect. Let's take a look at this in spectator cams, make sure that everything is working as intended. Yep, right up against the wall there. So I'm going to not just drop it on the drills or on the grinders because that would be unnecessarily destructive to the grinders. There. Give them the extra 1 or 2 meters worth of distance there. I think that was the advantageous option there. Now let's land real fast. Now, while I was drilling that out and waiting for the steel plates, I decided to make a little quick change, which you can probably see up there in the corners. But let's close the door so we can get rid of some of this glare, because it's quite bright outside. There we go. And then grinders on. And that is a lot of lag. Oh. But now we have a nice OSHA certified grinding pit with warning lights and everything. The only thing it's missing is a guardrail, but to be honest, I don't think it's needed. Now those are the parts that I was concerned about getting thrown around. Alright. I'll have to grind those by hand unless they stay in the grinding pit. Now, the reason why I wanted the cargo container there is the cargo container is going to be the first place most of this is going to end up. Wow, it is throwing things all over the place. I think I will need to put a door in here. Darn. I was hoping I wouldn't have to. I don't think I have a choice now. So, I mean, if this was in space, how to handle is just a super powerful... I wonder, I'll have to try that in creative mode, see if I can make that work. Just put a really strong gravity generator in there. Now, that will slide down and hopefully get caught by the drills there. Nope, I'm not even going to get close. And there's a bunch of pieces just hanging around in there, which should be okay. And I've made a mess of the hanger, so I'm going to jump ahead when I've got that cleaned up and turn our drills off, or the grind. Alright, housekeeping is done. I even went in and cleaned out the various little grids that were hanging around here in the drills. Or in the grinders. I keep saying that, I don't know why. So, the large cargo container up here is where everything in there went, which, for a drifting pursuit, that's actually a decent amount of materials. Ooh, we got some explosives. Where were the explosives from? Where were the explosives from? It's one of the wrecked ones. Control panel. So there are warheads on board. Good to know. Nevertheless, explosives. Did not see that one coming, honestly. I guess I should have, because all the signs said that they would have explosives, but yeah. Alright, let's close the door again and put in similar doors for the grinding pit. Oh. It means I'm going to have to change the way these little corners work. I didn't want to, but I guess I don't have much choice. So, let's see. So, and the reason why I'm removing them is not that because the hangar doors are going to go here. The hangar doors are actually going to go where this slope is, right above the conveyor junctions. But because now it's not going to match up and look good, so. Oh, let's get our hangar door. Unable to place hangar door. Why am I unable to place the hangar door? Attachment points are only on the sides. Okay. Well, let's solve that problem. There we go. And then in this space right here, I'm going to put the 2x1x1 slope base. If I could get my keys to respond properly when I need them to turn. There, let's just do that. Let's put them here as well. And weld those up. So now before I weld these up, I'm going to put them in a group, because right now they're labeled as incomplete, which is what I wanted. Because that means that if I go in here and I type in INC, all of these are going to show up. Now, save, and then turn them off to the terminal, so that way they're not hanging around anymore. But they are in a group, and unfortunately that means I'm now going to have to do a couple of things with that button. And I'm going to have to probably put in a number of things I was not wanting or anticipating to put in. Alright, oh boy. Where did the steel plates go? There's some there. Ah, there they are. Large cargo container with gravel. I'm going to have to turn the pistons down. So they're going way too fast and producing way too much stone. I don't want my I don't want anything to get overloaded right now. Scrap those. Ton of those. Steel plates. Alright. I think the drifting pursuits are still the largest type of drone I'm going to engage. There are other drones, such as the squids, that I could also be attacked by that are quite large, but I think I will be able to get a squid to fit in here pretty easily. Drifting pursuants are just bulky and large on their own. Should be fairly good otherwise. Now, the reason why I'm putting the door in here is just to provide a potential barrier. I know some will get through. The physics of the game just allows it to happen, but should be fine with the hangar doors as they are to block most of the little parts from coming through. Unfortunately, this does mean that I need to now put a new type of block in. Alright? And that block is going to be a timer block. Oh, timer blocks take computers, construction components, motors, and large steel tubes, I believe. No, computers, construction components, and interior plates only. Alright. Interior plates. Now, the reason why I wanted the floor space under here kept clear... Oh, there's a piece I missed. So I could do this. Go under here, and have access to the grinding pit space down here. So we're going to put a timer block. Why did I replace my conveyor junction with that? It's one of the most common blocks I use. Alright, timer block is going to go there. Now, I go back up to my button panel. Would putting all this in a server room work? Yes. There's no reason why it wouldn't. However, timer block, set it up, timer block, grinding pit. Alright. Now, I will just need one timer block to do what I intend to do, which is going to be to open, close, and on, off. That's all it is. So, timer block, delay, 1 second. Okay. Set of actions, groups, hangar door, grinders, open, close. Where are our grinders? Grinding pit grinders, Toggle blocks on and off. Okay. Then I go into the button panel. Button 1, set up actions. Remove from toolbar. Grab the timer block. And trigger now. So, all that this will do is with the first push, turn everything on, close the doors. The second push, turn everything off, and open the doors. No need for any additional timer delays or anything there. Oh, I could certainly set something up like that. That is not difficult at all. I just don't feel that there's a need for it. So with that, let's get some salvaging done, because we've got a fair bit of stuff to salvage here. So, let's do it.